Welcome to the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast. Pull up a chair and kick up your feet as you get ready to enjoy some of the industry's most entertaining and actionable Dynasty content on the planet. We're talking veterans, rookies, sleepers, and oh yeah, you know the crew has those dad jokes ready for you. So let's not wait any longer and bring on the host or some combination of Doug, James, and Tyler.
Hey, welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour. The Triforce is back in the house. Doug, Tyler, James. That's right, like Zelda, for all you nerds out there. And I know you're all nerds listening to this podcast, of course.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Dynasty nerds later on. So it's been a little while since the three of us have been together. Tyler, you're freshly shorn.
So at
it's
work,
freaking me out, man.
At work, we have to get fitted for N95s, and it was my wife's birthday Thursday. So I sat there and I thought, do I want to ruin her birthday or should I wait? So I waited till Friday. I shaved. It actually is better now than it was clean shaven. Like I did not like the person in the mirror. After I shaved, I was like, this is like, I told my wife, I had to explain to her, like, hey, it grows back. Don't leave me. She already called the divorce lawyer. I'm like, no. It will grow back. I promise. So, yeah, it's kind of like
it's a little unnerving.
It's weird because this is what I had before I met my wife, but I was also 50 pounds lighter. So that makes a big difference.
Did you just say 50 pounds whiter?
Lighter.
Oh, 50 shades whiter, I believe is what he meant.
50 shades of ginger.
50 shades of Tyler.
Yeah, James, you were on vacation in Aruba, enjoying paradise. I'm completely.
Oh, yeah. Be jealous. It was beautiful. It was hot. It was breezy. And I brought back a friend.
Herpes.
You don't get that in Aruba.
I mean,
yeah,
you could.
But you do get COVID. And that's not fun.
You already had it. I mean, Expo 2021.
I gave it to every one of you guys. Sorry. My bad.
That's a kisser, not a hugger.
Well, I'm jealous. I was in Atlanta last weekend. I had an awful experience getting there. My direct flight of 2.5 hours ended up being a 9-hour debacle. So that was a lot of fun. But once I got there, I had a good time, and the flight back was uneventful, which was good. So yeah, we've all got stuff going on. I've got my Cape Cod vacation coming up on Sunday, so I'll be out of pocket for another week. Yay! I'm like on vacation all the time. It seems like.
Yeah, it's like, where is Doug going next week?
After this, not anywhere. I got a cruise in October. That's about the only thing I got planned. So we are world travelers, with the exception of Tyler, who never goes anywhere.
Nope, I'm stuck here.
The first time he was ever on a plane was last year at the Expo. I did have some serious FOMO from seeing all the tweets from the Expo, especially since they did a flag football tournament and they had a quarterback challenge. This is right in I used to be a flag football quarterback for years, a slightly
state champs.
One. Not quite that good. But so I was having FOMO and then seeing all the pictures. And so 2023, I'm in. James, you in 2023?
I'm in if I'm not in Aruba.
Tyler, are you committing?
I'm already in the talks. It all depends.
You're in the early negotiation stages.
The August 11th day.
Okay. So all right. I'm in. I think I'm going to go regardless this year because I did miss it. This weekend, it kind of put me in a crabby mood a little bit.
Me too. Yeah, honestly, me too. My wife was like, "Why are you so upset?" And I'm just like,
I told my wife, I was like, I wanted to go to the Expo, and then I was like, Tyler and James aren't going. And then I see all the pictures, and I'm like,
yeah.
So next year. Hey, before we get into our topic of the week, which is going to be our 2022 rookie redraft, Where Are They Now? Which is always a fun episode. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Fantasy Points. And as we do that, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, by the way. Drop a like if you like the content. We also see us live on the Facebook as well. I just called it the Facebook Boomer. So check out Fantasy Points. It is redraft season, boys. I've got a redraft league coming up the first week of September, which is my annual big redraft league, my big money league, which I'm excited for. We just had the Scott Fish Bowl, which is a redraft format. So there's all sorts of awesome things you can find on Fantasy Points if you're ramping up for redraft. You can use code DHH22 and get 10% off a Fantasy Point subscription. not only is it good for when you're drafting, but it's also good throughout the year. If you want about waiver wires, different articles, podcasts, 90% of subscribers made the playoffs the last 2 years. It's the lowest price in the industry. They have an analytic powered draft tool, which is amazing. DFS optimizer. So maybe you're not so much into redraft, or you only play a couple leagues, but you play a lot of DFS. It'll optimize your earning potential. So, and we'll talk a little bit of DFS a little bit later as well. So make sure you check out fantasypoints.com, use code DHH22 and get 10% off. All right, let's get into some news because we've got a lot of news. As you know, boys, preseason has officially kicked off. Every team has now played a preseason game, I believe, and the Raiders have played too, so good for them. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack, and I want to talk about some of the bigger things, and then we'll kind of do a round robin, some of our takeaways from the weekend, and we'll try not to spoil any rookie intel as we get into this redraft format. But Jets quarterback Zach Wilson suffered a bone bruise and also a partially torn something or other, something that ends with an L.
Meniscus, I believe.
Meniscus. Yeah, it's a meniscal.
Is it a meniscus?
It's a meniscal. It's a meniscal.
He has meniscalitis.
Yeah, so he's having surgery, it looks like. So they don't know the extent of the injury until they open him up. So we'll see what happens. Expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks, but I think that's on the optimistic side.
Yeah.
Of the time he's supposed to miss. I assume Joe Flacco would be the starter there if Zach Wilson isn't ready for the season. And I don't think he's going to be completely honest. So for me, I've never been a big Zach Wilson guy. I know he's flashed a little bit in camp. I like what Joe Flacco and Mike White did last year for fantasy purposes for Elijah Moore. They obviously add Garrett Wilson there, and they add Breece Hall in the backfield. We'll talk about those guys when we get to the redraft portion. So I don't know. It moves the needle a little bit for me in the positive direction when we talk about early season success with Flacco or even Mike White at quarterback. And that's kind of how I look at this. I'm just not, Zach Wilson, they did sign Dwayne Brown because Mekhi Becton was out for the year. So they have a solid left tackle. So they're not going to miss too much of a beat there. But I don't know. Zach Wilson wasn't really getting me going or anything like that. Tyler, you are a late adopter to Zach Wilson, and then you've waffled a little bit, correct?
Yeah, I was thinking because the price is so cheap and nobody really wanted a piece of him because I think everybody was kind of hesitant on Wilson. And then I was like, the price is good. And it was more like, I hated his tape. So I kind of went and checked prices beginning of last year, but what I had, I sold. I got Baker Mayfield straight up for him and UDPL, but yeah, I just don't see it with Zach Wilson. Even during the preseason game, he looked like he was just not in place. Like he didn't look like he belonged. He didn't have control, and even on that run, he was like, almost was like scared. Like a bunch of older ladies were chasing after him, and he was running away.
He should be
from
used to that, though.
Yeah, that's true. So, like when the knee buckled, I thought it was more serious. I thought ACL, and then a lot of doctors on Twitter were saying, it looked bad, but it maybe like the ACL was in play, but maybe. And he escaped a major injury. But I'm with you. I think it's like a 6-week type thing. And I love seeing Joe Flacco. I know I text you guys right away saying I'm loving this for Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. I mean,
Corey Davis too, sure.
Yeah, honestly, I think Zach Wilson hurts multiple receivers. It's Elijah Moore's fine, but when Flacco's in, I think they all can have a piece.
Yeah. James, what do you think about this Zach Wilson injury?
I mean, it's only a matter of time before he just, cuts out and runs. I don't even want to be a part of the Zach Wilson fan club. I never was. I never will be. Even if the price is dirt cheap. I mean, just for comparison, I really was out on Kellen Mond too. And we saw that Twitter video today. Wow.
Everybody's got a prize, huh? Everybody's
got a prize. I make you an offer you can't refuse, and that offer would be a 2023 fifth for Zach Wilson.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
3, 4, 5. In Patriots news, we did have a retirement. Not a surprise after his hip injury, coming back.
Nemesis.
James White should have been Super Bowl MVP. James White, mind you. Finishes up a nice 8-year career as a third down receiving back and Tom Brady's binky. But James White, never a fumble in his career, which is pretty amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
And one of the best pass catching backs we've seen in the last 8 years, as far as, I think he's had like 25 total touchdowns, like a ton of catches, always fantasy relevant and as a flex. He's going to retire. We saw the Patriots preseason game. Who replaces him? Great question.
Who knows? Or who even
knows?
cares?
It's Ramondre, dude.
This offense looks bad.
And all the preseason reports about the Patriots offense is the worst they've seen it. They're trying a zone blocking scheme, and it is not going over well. Cole Strange hasn't been looking great. Like, there's just a lot. The Patriots offense, although Tyquan Thornton, we might talk about him probably.
He needs a sandwich. So, chef, I know you haven't been a professional chef in a while. You should get a hold of Thornton. Be like, hey, I'm gonna get you on this program. We're gonna gang like 50 pounds, and you'll get up to 170. You'll be 6'3", 170 once I get this weight in you.
Let's he weigh 130 pounds?
He is so rail thin. Like, I have a friend that reminds me of him. Just all bone.
Oh man.
So yeah, James White retiring, 3-time Super Bowl champion, by the way.
I get it.
White. All right, some news out of Cleveland. The Cleveland Plain Dealer reports that the Browns could consider Jimmy Garoppolo if Watson's suspension goes over 6 weeks. And the rumor is it's going to be no less than 12. And I saw a tweet early this morning that it was almost a lock that it's going to be the whole season. So who knows what to believe.
I was going to say, I heard 8.
Yeah, who knows?
I heard 12.
I think it's going to be definitely more than 6. I would not be shocked if it's a whole season. Goodell's comments alone, I know he's not the executioner on this one, but Goodell's comments were strongly like, yeah, it's going to be way more than 6.
But he hired the executioner, right? So therefore,
I'm sure they're in talks.
And he's also been the executioner for somebody who's kicked a woman and like there's
inflated a ball improperly.
Let's make a deal,
He's definitely not the best executioner.
No. So we should hopefully hear some news soon. I know he was met with a showering of boos as he took the field in preseason. His first football since January of 2021, and he looked like a booty cheeks. He did not look comfortable. He looked bad. The Browns lost their starting center, it looks like, for the season. Yep. So maybe they get J.C. Treader on line 1. It looks like centers are dropping like flies this year. I might try out. So we'll see about it. If Jimmy Garoppolo goes to Cleveland, cool. Like, it doesn't really do anything for me. It's about the same as Jacoby Brissett, in my opinion. I mean, Garoppolo is probably a little bit more accurate, but he's a fragile Freddy. So Jacoby, I don't care. Either way, Cleveland, don't care. Let's go to our quick preseason 1 takeaways, and I'm going to start with James. I'm going to give him the floor. Give me some of your quick observations. Give me like 3 or 4 things that you noticed during the preseason games that kind of made you perk up or made you puke in your mouth a little bit.
Remember, save a little bit of the rookies.
I know. Well, Kellen Mond stinks. It's Mannion's job to be the backup.
Didn't Mond have a good game though?
He did. He had a good statistical game.
Was he bad? I didn't watch it.
It's honestly, the new offense helps him. He will never be, I don't think, a starter in this league. He'll be a good backup.
Chase Daniel 2.0.
Yeah.
You know who shocked me, and I'm going to get a lot of crap from Tyler, and it was Zach Moss. He actually ran well, and I just saw a Twitter video saying that he was dealing with the ankle. Look at Tyler's face, and I know Tyler is the biggest James Cook fan on this podcast. Well earned, obviously. You have all your stock of James Cook, but I think Zach Moss may stick around a little bit as a thorn in your side. My man looked all right. I think what he had like 3 or 4 carries.
I think he's going to grow moss on the sideline.
In the preseason, I don't care.
Right. And that's my biggest takeaway is the overreactions of people seeing like Ebner from the Bears just crushing.
See, that's different. If it's a rookie who we get to see for the first time, that's showing something, fine. But if it's Zach Moss, who we've seen for 2 years straight, I don't care. I know who he is.
You know who he is, huh?
Yep. He's going to grow moss on your roster.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you could trade him right now, you should.
I should use the snooze right now and just get rid of the rest of my shares.
Yeah.
See you later. Bye.
Anything else, James, from your from the weekend?
Josh Kelly looked okay. Mm-hmm. And that was something, and I don't want to spoil the broth on the
There's been a little bit of a drumbeat for Josh Kelly.
Yeah, I think he showed enough that he isn't supplanted yet. Whether or not Spiller can earn that respect in camp is left to be seen.
Tyler, what do you got from this weekend?
I'll just bunch them together and I won't spoil anything. Rookie quarterbacks, they look good.
Yeah, not bad.
Not all of them.
I think most of them looked good.
That's better.
And for me, second-year quarterbacks, except for Zach Wilson, I think are going to be just fine. Trey Lance looked electric. And, oh, my God, that deep bomb, how everybody's nervous about. Like, I've noticed there's a wobble a little bit to his throws. But the fact that there's a wobble to his throws and they're going that quick is insane to me. That was my first thought. Like, I throw wobble sometimes, but they slow down. Like, these don't slow down. And then that perfect pass to, was it Danny Gray?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's, I mean, we're not going to get into it, but that got me hot and bothered. That looked perfect. Trey Lance is going to be fine. He's going to grow with the season too. So what we see now, he's only going to get better and more comfortable in this offense. Fields was under pressure like crazy. This offensive line could be the worst.
So bad.
But he looked good. He was able to get outside the pocket, move around, use his athletic ability. And I think it's a perfect buying opportunity for him because I liked what I saw. I'm like, wow, he made some really nice throws and he was getting pressured like crazy. Like if this team gets an offensive line, he's going to feel so comfortable next year behind a good offensive line that it's just going to be like, oh, all right. I mean, last year I had 3 people on me in 3 seconds. Now I have nobody. He's going to grow. He'll get better. The Bears.
I like that. I'll jump in on that because I saw a clip of him just reading the blitz, having it get picked up, and it was a perfect quick out on the sideline. I don't know who caught it, but he's definitely matured in the second year, and it showed early on.
And Trevor Lawrence looked really sharp as well. Like his accuracy issues, I think, were just the terror in that locker room called Urban Meyer. So I think Trevor Lawrence is in for a big season.
Yeah, I got a couple, and it was, I watched most of the Patriots game because it was on here locally, although the feed on the CW was not great, but I powered through it. So Tyquan Thornton, we probably won't talk about him in the draft, I would imagine, that we're going to have tonight, but
maybe.
But
really.
Yeah, he does need to eat a sandwich. He is rather slender, but he's very fast. He adjusts to the ball really well in the air. And the play that he caught the touchdown on when Brian Hoyer, the pocket collapsed, Hoyer rolled to the right. Tyquan Thornton did a veteran move and just moved along the back of the end zone to get open, which we see every Sunday a receiver do. And for a rookie, I thought that was really well done. He looked natural. And his route running is something that they've been talking about in camp, and he's been flashing in camp. There's been a steady drumbeat for Tyquan Thornton. What you got, Tyler?
What I liked from him and what I saw from that touchdown is what you don't see from rookies.
Hands catches.
Late hands. So a lot of rookies will show their hands early. Defenders will be able to know where the ball is coming and knock it out. What I saw from Drake London and Thornton was late hands. They were late to the ball, so the defender can't, when he's not looking back at the ball, they have no idea where it's coming. And that ability will come in useful for bigger guys because he's tall. Thornton is. Same with Drake London.
6'2". Yeah.
Yep. So what that comes into play is jump balls and the ability to, when on deep balls, so defenders can't break it up. And I like seeing that. That was kind of a veteran move, and I was like, oh, okay, know.
And one of the things they've been talking about, the most impressive things about Thornton, not only his route running, but also hands catches. He doesn't use his body at all. He plucks the ball with his hands. His hands have been really strong. So maybe just maybe he breaks 2 molds. It's a early Patriots receiver and a Baylor receiver.
Bill hit a receiver that
he's got the odds against him.
He does. But hey, you know what? At that 4th round rookie draft pick, I took so much Tyquan Thornton.
Fair enough.
Draft capital.
Wasn't even funny.
It was same as Danny Gray. Draft capital.
And then the other rookie I want to talk about, who we probably won't talk about, that I was really impressed with, was Sam Howell from the Commanders.
Yes.
I thought Howell looked comfortable. Yes. He made some big boy throws. He's mobile, which I think a lot of people just forgot about. He had a couple of nice runs in that game. Sam Howell looked good. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if by the end of the season, Carson Wentz stinks like normal. Tyler Heineke's a guy, and they're like, you know what? Give the keys to Sam Howell.
Yeah.
Because he made some he made some nice throws in traffic. He was able to go through his reads and hit his receivers in stride. I was really impressed with Sam Howell. So he stood out to me. I actually watched his NFL.com posted a video of all the plays from Sam Howell, and I watched through it, and I was like, this kid looks good. And I liked Sam Howell coming out of UNC. You know, without some of the weapons he had last year, his numbers weren't as good. But so Sam Howell flashed to me, so I liked what I saw. And that was another guy I got late in a lot of Superflex drafts.
Oh, yeah.
Fourth,
third, fifth round.
Well, like in Superflex, I got him like mid-third, early fourths and some. So I was like, you know what? Like the situation, Carson Wentz isn't locked in long-term, and I liked Howell. So at that point in a Superflex draft, that's the kind of guy that you want to add to your roster every year, like Kellen Mond last year. Even though he might not become a thing, it didn't cost you an arm and a leg. And if he hits, congrats, boom, you just gained a ton of value.
Quick question. Who plays who in a movie? Baker Mayfield plays Sam Howell in a movie, or Sam Howell plays Baker Mayfield in a movie? Because I'm
going to say Baker Mayfield plays Sam Howell because Sam Howell is going to have a better career.
And Baker has all the film experience with the commercials and everything. So
and Baker is a pretty good. He's a pretty. So with injuries, we did have a couple of close shaves this week with Zach Wilson. We also didn't talk about Drake London, but it looks like he's going to miss just practice for his knee injury. So close shaves. Oh, what's that? What's that about close shaves, Doug? Oh. We've got a new sponsor, and we're talking close shaves with Manscaped, the best in men's grooming. Proper grooming requires precision-engineered tools because when you're grooming down there, you don't want anything that's gonna tug or cut or anything like that because it's a sensitive area. It requires precision, and hygiene demands it. Manscaped has the right tools for the job. Skin-safe technology. I actually cut my son's hair. Now I have 2 of the Manscapes. Now I clean them obviously, but I cut his hair. I buzz it. I buzz it.
What?
Yes, I buzz my son's hair with the Manscaper.
I use it for around my ears.
Yeah, so because it doesn't rip or anything like that. It works really well. So you can use it if you keep your head buzzed. You can use it for that. You keep your balls buzzed. Use it for that. Like whatever. Just wash it afterwards. Skin safe technology. The LED lighting is awesome. You can see with it.
Yeah.
The Lawnmower 4.0 has a wireless charger, which is awesome. The Weed Whacker's included, which is a nose and ear trimmer. As I get older, I'm in my almost mid 40s. I get the ear hairs and the nose hairs. So that was a pleasant surprise in the package when I saw.
I don't know anything about the ear hair thing yet because I haven't hit the 40 mark. But the nose hair.
Wait, I'm 35 and I have ear hair.
Then you're you almost have no hair too. So hey.
So not only you're going to get close shaves for your head, your groin area, your nose, your ears, you're also going to get these awesome hygiene products. We've got the Crop Preserver, which is the ball deodorant.
Love it.
It's going to keep you smelling real nice for the ladies. Your Crop Cleanser, which is a groin wash. So again, you want to wash and then deodorize, but they also have the Crop Reviver, which is a ball spray. So if you're on the go and you're like, you know what, I'm feeling a little funky, but I don't have time to throw deodorant or Crop Cleanser on, bam, you got a little bit of spray. So you're not you're not in Funky Town over there. So make sure you choose Manscaped for all your grooming needs. Use code DHH for 20% awesome discount at checkout. Code DHH. Yes, get the package on manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you for it. All right,
package will thank you for it.
Yes, and the package that comes in the mail is pretty freaking awesome. All right. Yeah. Let's get into this draft. So we are doing a rookie redraft super flex format. We haven't even decided who's picking where because that's how unprepared we are. It's amazing.
We'll let James go first.
Okay, let James do that. Tight end premium? Does it even matter?
Tight end premium and
tight end premium, super flex.
All right, let's go.
All right, so I'm on the clock, huh? You know what? I really don't like going first. Damn it! And this is like the second time.
It's a pretty easy decision.
I was gonna say this is like the one rookie draft that's easy. Yeah.
It's Breece Hall. Is it still Breece Hall? No, I'm gonna go Ken Walker.
Wow.
I just posted Breece Hall in the chat. Why you gotta do that?
Because
I'll change it.
All right, Ken Walker.
It's going Ken Walker. And the reason why is everybody doubted Ken Walker can't catch passes. He never caught any passes. What did he do this weekend? He caught a pass.
And Pete Carroll gave the smoke up your ass statements like he always does.
I wanted to be like, in your face.
Chewing his gum up on stage.
Rashad Penny also currently injured. Chris Carson retired. I got Ken Walker in an industry redraft league in the 8th round, and I was on cloud 9 to get him there because he's going to pay off that ADP easily.
Definitely going to pay off. Just a little tidbit. Travis Homer looked very good catching out of the back.
DJ Dallas as well.
Yeah, year 3 and 4 for those guys. Whatever.
Yep.
Exactly. But no, Ken Walker, I think he deserves it. I think you can go either way. I'm sure, I didn't mention the 101 of this season.
He's ball.
Yeah, but if they don't have a quarterback to command that offense, I'm not interested. And his time may run out a lot faster than people.
Can I go 102?
Yes, you are. I was just
because it's so easy.
No, we're gonna let Doug make the hard choice because I have no idea who he'd go at 103. So I'm gonna go 102, and I'm gonna take Breece Hall. Breece Hall looked electric. He looked like an elite running back. The only issue is the offense. Like, who's gonna? If Joe Flacco's running the offense, all right, wheels up. Michael Carter got a lot of play as well. So
my boy.
That is okay. But you know what? Naheem Hines got a lot of play. So I'm not worried about that. Breece Hall, I think, is the 101. He's the more talented, I would say, physically in this group. Ken Walker might be the better runner, but I think Breece Hall overall is the best fantasy style of play. Like that's my opinion.
Fair enough. And I'm not gonna argue with you. I mean, I think both of them are great players. Yeah. They both can run the ball. They both can probably be a 3-down back. I think Walker may have a better chance with the other players in that backfield, especially with Penny often injured. Rashad Penny, speaking of, and then
reminds me of Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley their rookie years. We all had him 101, 102. And you know what? It really didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Like Nick Chubb, yeah, he was easy peasy, just all neutral the whole time. You got what you got. He wasn't a stud, but man, he was a low end RB1, high end RB2. Barkley had that amazing year 1. Injuries kind of hurt him. That, in my opinion, is Breece Hall and Ken Walker. Ken Walker's a Nick Chubb.
Oh, I'll take Ken Walker as Nick Chubb all day long.
Yep, and you're gonna be more than happy with that.
Yep.
This is what I'm looking forward to.
Doug with the 103.
If this was a while ago, I probably would have picked a different player, but I like what I've seen. The opportunity is there. I'm not a huge fan of this player. He just got hurt. But I'm going to go with Drake London.
Yeah.
So, I have some question marks about some of the other guys in this area. I think that he's got the most room to grow, get the target opportunity. You can start him probably in year 1 in your lineup, which I do like. So yeah, I'll go with London. I like what I've seen. Like, he's got more separation than I thought he could. My concern was like, all right, is he going to be able to do this? But it looks like those concerns are not warranted. So I will safely take Drake London at the 103.
I was talking with James after the game. We play a little Fortnite, and I said Drake London on that crossing route that he caught, the 24-yard catch, he was ahead of the defender, and he's so tall, he's fast. Like, his strides are lanky as AF. So he could really, cover some ground with just one stride. That's not what I'm worried about. And like I said, the late hands to the ball, I love seeing that on that catch. And his length is going to be awesome for this quarterback room.
Yes. James, 104.
Oh, it's still too early to break Tyler's heart, so I won't do it. I'm going to go with Desmond Ridder, my guy from Atlanta.
Whoa, at 104.
104. Yep.
He is sold on Ridder.
I am. Lock it up. Throw away the key. I'm sold on him.
Mariota played well, too.
Mariota played well as an experienced quarterback.
They had like 5 drops for Ridder, which didn't help his completion percentages. So
he had 5 drops, and if he was throwing to Drake London on half of those throws or Kyle Pitts, they wouldn't have been drops. Mm-hmm. He perfectly led the wide receiver on a crossing route, and the receiver it hit his hands like a brick and just bounced right off. I think Ritter has what it takes. He showed great poise. He showed patience. And then he showed the ability to take what's given to him and run up the field, do what he has to do with the ball in his hands. It's only a matter of time before Ritter commands this football team, and Mariota is just a bridge. And he was doing the same thing he was doing in Tennessee. Oh, I'll run to the left. I'll run to the pylon. And that's okay. He did pretty well, completions this, completions that, but it's old bowl, new bowl, and I think the new bowl is actually going to win.
Ritter definitely had some juice, so I like seeing that.
And seeing Mariota get hit each time, like, oh, there it is.
Yep.
Breaking.
It's like watching Jimmy Garoppolo get hit. It's like
he got hit on the sideline, and I was like, oh, he ain't getting up. But he did. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Tyler, who you got at the 105th?
This one is actually very tough for me. There's about 3 players I would look at, but I'm going to go with my dude, James Cook,
I knew that
105. There's plenty of receivers to choose from, but man, this is the last running back I have interest in. His preseason, he was used a lot. They had him spread out, but Josh Allen wasn't in. So the defense wasn't scared of anything when Case Keenum's playing. A lot of the starters for the Bills did not play. And that showed me like, hey, okay. Cook, he was in line for the third downs. I know Zach Moss got a lot of play, but that's a good thing because if you get more play in the preseason, that's more of a worrisome for me. James Cook, he's going to be just fine. Everything outside of the preseason game I heard is outstanding. He's going to be used in a lot of different packages. He's going to be a PPR stud. In my opinion, I think he's going to be a poor man's Austin Eckler year one, and then his opportunity can only grow from there.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills definitely wanted to add a pass-catching running back into their program this year. When they didn't sign, when McKissick went back to the Commanders, they kind of showed their hand, right? They were like, this is what we're looking for. And then they draft James Cook in the second round, and we're like, yep. So I think that's going to be the new wrinkle in their offense because they didn't have that with Singletary and Moss last year or, Breda, whoever else was there. So this gives them a new wrinkle, more flexibility. They can line him up in the slot. They can line him up in the backfield, maybe 2 back sets. Like they can do a lot of different versatile things and kind of keep defenses guessing with a player like James Cook on the field. So I like that pick quite a bit. My 106, I'm going on talent. This is Tyler's number 1 receiver in the draft going in. Obviously the quarterback situation isn't ideal with Zach Wilson there. Maybe he flashes a little bit with Joe Flacco, but Garrett Wilson, I think is crazy talented. I think he was more talented than Chris Olave, even though Olave's got a better situation for year one. I'm going to bet on Garrett Wilson and the talent, even though the landing spot wasn't great. We've seen that happen with players in the past, like A.J. Brown's, and the landing spot stinks, and then A.J. Brown ends up being an absolute baller. I think it's going to be the same thing for Garrett Wilson, obviously a different type of player than A.J. Brown, but I like Garrett Wilson a lot. So to see him slide to an area like the 106, where he would go like 102, 103, maybe a few months ago. I think that Garrett Wilson at 106, like Tyler said, is a slam dizunk.
So there's actually a stat out there that I've heard on multiple podcasts this week that top 10 receivers coming into the league hit percentage is crazy high. It's almost instant.
John Ross.
Yeah, but the hit rate on them is crazy. And there is somebody talking about Elijah Moore, but people are also saying hey, don't forget about Garrett Wilson, top 10 pick. And those guys usually get the target volume and pan out.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I think Garrett Wilson is safe and I love the talent. So 106, slam dunk. James, who you got at the 107?
I don't know, man.
Man.
You got to go with your guy, right? I mean, this is all you've talked to us about.
Who's my guy? Sky Moore?
Yeah,
I'm going Sky Moore. I'm still not. I'm convinced that he is still the guy to have long term in that Kansas City offense. Now we look at it. Yes, Juju will be somewhat of a contributor there. We know this. Okay, they brought him in for a reason. 1 year prove it deal. But Sky Moore is there for at least 3 years. I think he
4. I think
he is part of the new edition of the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. They are slowly going to be rebuilding this team, and Sky Moore is the future. And if he's the future with Patrick Mahomes, I want a piece of that. I don't know if Juju's going to be that, but I know Sky Moore is. And he is a perfect slot receiver. He could play outside. He's very versatile.
He wears number 24, which is weird.
I don't care about the numbers, man. All I care about is his
weird. It's a running back number. It's weird.
All right, but realistically, you look at it, Kelsey is limited. We don't know how long he's going to be around. It's a new regime for this Kansas City offense, and Sky Moore seems to fit the bill. He probably will be put in as a starter eventually this season, maybe not week 1, maybe not until week 4, but I can see him making his way onto the field more than usual and getting a little bit of what he's worth right now. So I'm okay taking him still mid first round. I think he lives up to his ADP come next season. We're going to really see it.
Sky's the limit, as they say.
Oh.
All right, Tyler, you're up at the 108. What you got? Don't take my guy.
Take your guy.
Slam dunk George Pickens.
Mother fluffer.
I have a feeling that Tyler was setting me up there.
So there is a thing called a drum beat. Matt Harmon has,
I have Pickens right after Moore.
Oh, it's
The
been a
drum
loud,
beat-
it's been a loud drum beat.
The drum beat is one of those giant ones that are on the Slipknot music videos, and he's just pounding on it. That's the
Or
George
like
Pickens.
in Seattle when they hit the drum before they
Yeah,
do the
like
thing.
this drum beat is some of the loudest drum beats I've ever heard from a player in camp. Everything I've seen, George Pickens is it. And it's insane. Like he's doing the same thing he did in college.
It's official now after that preseason game. I'll tell you
that catch, beautiful. NFL veteran toe footwork, beautiful.
Didn't push off, had his arm out to feel the defender. So there was like everybody's like, oh, offensive pass interference. That was questionable because
the presence
he
to
didn't
get his
push.
feet in that corner.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
At
It reminded me of, I know this is lazy because he was a Georgia receiver. Reminded me a little bit of Ariel Jeremiah Green.
Yeah. For me, it's T. Higgins all over again. We loved T. Higgins. We thought T. Higgins was good. He had an injury, so he's kind of forgotten. But he had his fan club still. George Pickens, he had the injury. He was still a top-tier receiver, talent-wise. One of the best receivers to come out of high school. Had the injury, then off-the-field issues. But we all said on here the off-the-field issues were mainly just him with that quote-unquote dog in him.
Yeah,
I hate saying that.
The bulldog.
And so you see it on the field, like his blocking. The dude just bullies people, and he's so good. He's going to be so good. It doesn't matter who throws him the ball. This guy is going to be great, in my opinion. You just see it. So for me, Pickens, he should be right up there with Garrett Wilson, in my opinion, as one of the top receivers in this class. I know there's a couple others that we're kind of disappointed in and one we haven't seen. So Pickens, in my opinion, we have seen everything we need to. And I mean,
truth.
I was taking Pickens at the end of the first round. I actually made a deal and traded Clyde Edwards-Helaire for the 112 and then took Pickens with the 112.
Oh my God.
That's great.
Needless to say, I'm a happy man. Let's go.
Oh boy. The person that you traded with is very unhappy right now.
Yeah. They're
he's
like
kicking himself.
Yeah, George Kickens, if you will.
Love it.
All right, at the 109, this is a pretty easy one for me. I'm going to take Chris Olave. I think that, again, we rewind a couple months ago. Olave is going a handful of picks earlier. I think Olave is set up for success in year one with Jameis. There will be some target competition with a healthy Mike Thomas there. And then they signed Jarvis Landry. We don't know about Kamara's status yet, if he's going to miss some time. But I think Olave has a chance to really mesh with Jameis's game. I don't know if Jameis is the long-term solution there, but I really like Olave. I know he's a little bit on the smaller side, but he is a good route runner. He does create separation. So I think he's in a good spot for New Orleans for the future. So I like Olave here at 109. Pretty easy pick for me going forward. So we are back to James at the 110, unless you guys have anything to say about Chris Olave.
Oh, no.
It's a good pick. I mean, if you want safety, he's safe. From what I've seen, I'm worried about Michael Thomas being healthy again and the target share going down for him, because that's what Olave needs, in my opinion, is more targets. He could be a deep threat. Who knows? He's got the speed. I just don't see the elite potential from him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Speaking of elite, my next pick, Jameson Williams.
Thought about him.
Could be elite.
Yes, he definitely has that possibility surrounding him. Obviously, we won't see him. I'm pretty sure we won't see him at least for the first.
They might. I mean, depending on how the team's playing, they might just shelve him for the year.
Does it worry you that he wears number 9?
He asked Stafford, so it's fine.
No, I'm not worried about numbers, man. Only numbers I'm worried about are the fantasy points. Well, and the receptions and all that extra,
all that stuff,
all those extra numbers. But no, Jameson Williams, I think he can be a star. He does have that ceiling. And we watched Detroit this week. They need a leader. They need a leader in that receiving core. And as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown is,
you mean Devin Funchess isn't the leader in that receiving core?
Oh yeah, that's right.
You mean DJ Chark?
Yeah.
Josh Reynolds? Come on, man.
No, I think if DJ Chark, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams with Hawkinson and Swift, this offense is going to.
And Jared Goff is still way too cheap.
And their defense is not good. So yeah, I think Jameson Williams by the end of the season, people are going to be like, "Whoa, I can't believe I didn't take him over Olave."
See OBJ's rookie season by week 6. We're all slapping ourselves for fading him.
That's the best case scenario. I get it. Tyler, you're up at the 111.
Oh man, this is another tough one. There is somebody falling. Falling.
He's falling.
You know what I'm going to do here?
Probably take the guy I want to take.
I'm going to take a chance.
A rookie?
I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to take a leap of faith on what I saw as the most talented quarterback in this class, and that is Malik Willis.
All right, let's go.
From what I saw from Malik, was he had control. That offense believed in him. When he had the ball, he believed he could make this team go, and he did.
He was elusive.
He made great throws on the sideline. He showed a lot of talent, and man, he, like you said, Doug, elusive. He is dangerous with the ball in his hand, and that made a huge difference for this offense. And if that comes into play, Tannehill could see the door sooner than we think. Because imagine Derrick Henry. I get he had the injury and he's 28, running in an option offense where you're scared of this quarterback taking off as well. Like that is what they need. It's like playing Madden when you had Vic and you had an ultimate team of, say, LT. Like you don't want to cover both. You can't.
No.
That's what it would be like. So for me, I think Malik Willis might get more play than we think because he showed a lot to me in this preseason game.
Do you think they do something similar where like they did in San Francisco, brought Trey Lance in for the goal line? They don't know. They don't know who it's going to be.
I was going to say Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts when Wentz was playing. Like,
right.
Everybody was chanting for Wentz to be benched, and Hurts came in, and he made a couple boneheaded plays, but the offense
like Willis did this weekend.
But Jalen Hurts was electric when he was on the field, and that offense looked a ton better. And that would not shock me if that's the route they go.
Yeah, and I mean, Ryan Tannehill last season, I think he had 5 rushing touchdowns. Imagine if Malik Willis was running the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, Tannehill's a talented runner, but he's no Malik Willis with the ball in his hands. So I actually took Malik Willis at the very end. I think it was a 14-team league. Tyler, I think it's a sleeper league that we're in. I took Malik Willis in the first because I needed some quarterback help, and I believed in Malik Willis. This was before the actual draft happened, I think, is what we did. And no, it was after the draft.
It's a fine pick.
Yeah, and I took Willis late because I still believe in him. I see, you can write yourself a story where Tannehill, he's due a ton of money or he's a free agent at the end of the year. They're not going to pay him $25 million something bucks for an early 30-year-old quarterback who's kind of middle of the road. And then seeing all them draft all those offensive weapons this year with the receivers, the tight end, the running back with Hassan Haskins, who looks pretty good. Like they're bringing in a lot of young offensive skill
Joey
positions.
Chestnut.
Yes, my boy Chestnut. You heard it here first on Dynasty Happy Hour.
Oh man, he had that fumble.
I was in on Julius Chestnut.
I was like,
it was all those hot dogs.
Guy.
It's all those hot dogs, man.
Doug's guy. You heard that name here first. Sacred Heart or whatever he's from. So I'm
the
gonna make
hospital
my pick.
From Scrubs, Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart. I'm gonna make my pick here. There is a player that's falling, and I do roster him in a couple of leagues, and I think my head is telling me to take the player that was drafted before him in the NFL draft, who has shown the complete package in preseason thus far and has gotten rave reviews, and that's Jahan Dotson. from Penn State, the Washington Commanders receiver. I think that the Commanders and Carson Wentz, McLaurin, we all know he's great. And I think Jahan Dotson, with question marks around Curtis Samuel's health, the retirement of Antonio Gandy-Golden.
Antonio Gibson's fumbles.
Yeah. I just think that Jahan Dotson could be that sneaky guy that no one's really thinking about because the quarterback plays it. But I think Jahan Dotson is super talented. So I think he's safer than the guy that's falling here because I got question marks about Mr. TB. So I'm going to take Jahan Dotson here pretty easily, the end of round 1 at the 112. So let's take a little bit of a pause here because we're going to regroup and then we're going to flip to round 2. So before we do that, now, if you've done your rookie drafts and maybe, you drafted some rookies and your team stinks, you're drafting at the early part of the draft and, you're not really playing for this year, but you still want to be really involved in the NFL season, you can go and play some DFS, and you can do that with Underdog, the number 1 up-and-coming app in the fantasy. Underdog is awesome. You should download it right now from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Use code DHH. You can have your deposit of up to $100 matched right away. So put in 100, you get 200. It's as easy as that. It's free money for something that you're probably going to play anyways. So you want to try to turn that money. Everyone wants to turn money into more money, right? This is a great way to do it. You can do it with rookies and sophomore drafts. There's NFL best balls as well going on right now. They have predictions for in season, so a little bit of prop betting, which I have a lot of fun with. You can also play baseball if you're into boring sports. Feel free. You can play baseball too. Don't miss out on this deal. So once again, it's code DHH for your deposit up to $100.
I can't believe you just attacked like 30 people right there.
Yeah, consider that mild. I got to put my 12 pick in here. So do we want to keep the same order or give James a 201?
James is up.
All right. Well, I'm not taking the ticking time bomb. Give me Kenny Pickett.
Okay. I mean, you going to elaborate or are you just going to
quarterback, second round? No, I think he didn't do enough to turn heads on his first preseason game, but I think he did okay.
Yeah.
And I think he will beat out Mason Rudolph as the backup. And if not, oh well, he has first round draft capital. As good as Mitch Trubisky is, Kenny Pickett is going to start for that football team. We saw some of the weapons, the aforementioned Pickens. We know what Najee Harris is. We know what Pat Freiermuth is. Just imagine those weapons surrounding him. He just needs some time to develop, I think, a little bit more. I think he's going to do just fine. And you know what? I'll take a QB2 in the second round.
Yeah, and what I saw a lot from this preseason game is they treat him a lot like Tua his rookie year. Ease him into it, little short dump-off passes, get used to the game and the speed. And then I think they're going to kind of expand the playbook. I think as the preseason goes, we'll see more from Kenny Pickett, which like you said, I was expecting. I had the bar a little low, and then he actually played very well. Like he made short completions. The starting, like imagine Pickens, Deontay Johnson, and Chase Claypool in there. Like those are great weapons. I'm not worried. I think he's going to be good. He's going to be right where Tua is, in my opinion, next year.
That's fair enough. And look at the value around Tua now. So I'm not, it's not necessarily a performance-based pick. It's more the sense that the QBs in the second round of a super flex draft, you want the quarterbacks.
And they did lock up Deontay for a couple of years too, so that helps.
Yeah.
The hip does worry me with him. So
I mean, everybody has their question marks, but a second round pick, I'm okay with.
And a super flex, yeah, for sure. Tyler, who you got coming up at the 202?
Oh man, this is tough. Do I take it or do I not?
Don't do it.
Oh man, I'm going to. I mean, early second round pick. I'll take Treylon Burks. I've seen reports where he looks good in practice.
Ryan Tannehill says he's making plays for him.
Yes. In my opinion, I don't think it was really asthma, quote unquote. I think it was out of shape.
Conditioning, yeah.
So for me, it's him getting used to the NFL game. It'll take him some time. He wasn't used great in Arkansas. He didn't really run routes. They pretty much just gave him the ball.
Any routes. He didn't run any routes this past weekend either, man.
From what I've seen from camp, he's strong on the point. He can definitely bully corners around. Maybe that's what they have him do. They might cut special plays for him. But that early of a pick, they are going to get him out there. I'm not really worried about him not playing the whole year. Westbrook-Ikhine, I'm not worried about. He'll get in. He'll get some play.
Is a jag. Yeah, for sure.
So for me, getting him in the second round, yeah, I think I'm all over it. It could be, we've seen it before. We've seen A.J. Brown fall, same team. And who knows, maybe his value will rise. But I have my worries. I was thinking about another receiver down in James' part of town.
He's on my list.
But for me, Treylon Burks holds the most opportunity to rise in value. And in Dynasty, that's what I'm looking for.
Yep, I agree. At the 203 here, again, the receiver that's down in James's neck of the woods is on my radar. But I like what I saw out of this rookie this weekend. He had a limited sample size at Florida. There is opportunity there in the Houston Texans backfield. James is visibly angry. I'm going to take Damian Pierce here because the other running backs that are still available, I think Pierce probably has the most upside and the most opportunity in year one. All he's going to do is beat out Marlon Mack, which, Marlon Mack's a nice running back. Rex Burkhead and some of the other dusty old trinkets
Nobody
they have.
beats out Rex Burkhead, though.
That's true. He's got grit and balls, as they say. So I'm going to go with Damian Pierce here at the 203. I think it's a pretty easy pick. And again, I see a nice ceiling here, and a player that, like Treylon Burks, could gain value, especially if he makes a splash in his rookie season.
You ship him out.
He probably gained value just after that one run that's all over Twitter that everybody saw.
Yeah, I saw that run, and I was like, that's cool. But yeah,
and you know what, though? It just brings back to the fact of Ramondre Stevenson last year. We were at the Expo, and we were like, whoa, did you see that run? And everybody's like, yeah.
And I was already in on Ramondre, so.
And we were already in on it. I was already in on Damian Pierce, and now everybody's in on Damian Pierce.
See, I'm out.
His value has raised, so Tyler is out. And another player that their value has raised, and yes, he comes from my neck of the woods. Anywhere's blue, baby. Wandale.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whoa.
Wandale Robinson. He's already slotted in, pun intended, as the slot receiver for the New York Giants. Rookie starter. I think they've got something going on there without Kenny Golladay. They just need to get rid of Golladay.
He didn't look good either.
But no, I think he's so bad, dude.
Kenny Albatross.
We're gonna be cursing Gettleman until he retires. Until we get rid of Galladay's contract, rather. Mm-hmm. But no, Wandale Robinson. I believe in the talent. I think he has a place there in that offense alongside Kadarius Toney. I don't think they cancel each other out like a lot of people thought. Nope. Tony's there. Oh, Wandale can't do it. Yes. What we saw from the preseason games, they're going to pass a lot more than what people think. Dabble wants to try new things. They went out and got Robinson for a good reason. They are going to utilize him. And he returns punts. So any kind of special teams use is going to keep him around and active. We all remember Antonio Brown returning punts. That's where it starts. He's a special type of talent, and I think he transfers well into the NFL. And at 204, I'm happy.
And I trust Brian Dable, so
yeah,
for sure. I like that. Tyler,
about time I can trust the Giants coach.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Tyler, who you got at the 205?
Here it comes. You ready? Romeo Dobbs.
Dobbs.
Romeo
Dobbs.
Now,
all right.
This is before the other receiver. It's not just the hype. How many times have I said, what if he's better than Christian Watson? Because I don't like Christian Watson.
Too raw.
Way too raw. He's 24 years old.
Rodgers ain't gonna trust him.
Nope. And it's just like the George Pickens hype. The drum beat.
I can't believe they passed on Pickens to get Christian Watson.
My thing is, go look at Greg Cosell fantasy points. If you had the draft kit, Greg Cosell had him comp to Devontae Adams' rookie season. Said he's got some things he needs to work out, but he's very pro ready. He's got great routes. He's a good down the field receiver, good hands. Rodgers can trust this 4-year starter. Like, he was a 4-year starter. He was the dude at Nevada for Carson Strong. What if Carson Strong was himself because of Romeo Dobbs? Like, Romeo Dobbs could be a very good receiver. It would not shock me if he starts very early. Jordan Love targeted him a ton. You want to know why? Because he was open and he was able to get open easily. Romeo Dobbs, for me, is the guy. If you got him 3rd, 4th round, you are going to be jumping for joy because you got a starter for Aaron Rodgers, at least for 2 to 3 years, and he can only grow with this offense. And the value went from a 3rd or 4th round rookie pick to you could possibly get a 1st round
now.
pick. Yeah, you could get a 1st round pick for him in season. I tried to snag him from a couple people before the preseason. I know Gabe declined me on a couple. I regret not pushing further for him.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here kicking myself. So, yeah, at 205, I'm more than happy in taking a chance on a Green Bay receiver that I believe is good.
Gotcha. I like it. All right, I'm up at the 206. This one's a pretty easy one for me. I think he's, I think he's got a clear path to some work maybe as early in his rookie season, especially if grandfather Lenny goes down with an injury. And it's Rachaad White. I thought he looked good in the preseason game, catching passes out of the backfield. A lot of people would say he's the best pass-catching running back in this draft. I like Rachaad White a lot. I know he runs upright. There's been guys that have run upright that are good in the NFL. I didn't think he looked slow at all. So I think 206, Rachaad White could be a guy that you even use this year if Fournette goes down with an injury. I mean, they don't have Keyshawn Vaughn, Gio Bernard.
Hey, he scored a touchdown.
So I like Rachaad White here. I think that his pass catching alone, and then if he can be successful in between the tackles, I like White here at 206. I like his prospects.
Yeah. I mean, that one catch he had during the preseason, he caught it, and it just seemed like he was kind of in his own head, per se. He didn't know what to do. He was trying to move without thinking of what move he was going to do. So he just kind of ran to the sideline and got tackled out of bounds. I didn't really see it. I saw a straight line runner. So, I mean, he's not for me, but he's for a lot of other people.
Fair. James, who you got at the 207?
The 207, I mean, I know I talked about it at the top of the show with Josh Kelly seeming to have the hold on that backup role right now in I almost said it, in the LA Chargers backfield in San Diego.
Whale's vagina.
Yeah. But no, my pick is Isaiah Spiller. I still think he has the tools to fill right in with right behind Austin Eckler. I think all 3 of these guys are going to be used at some point. Obviously, Eckler being the starter, and they fill it in here or there. But imagine if you could fill it in with someone that is very similar in the fact that he can catch, he can run, he could break through the line. I think Spiller could do enough. And at the 207, I want a piece of that Chargers offense because I'll tell you what, man, they look good.
Hey, my boy Joe Reed caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
I right when I saw that, I was like,
"Oh, Doug!"
It was like Jumanji, like, what year
is my
is
poor
it?
man's LaVisca. Joe Reed.
What year is this?
Yeah, he's like homeless LaVisca at this point because LaVisca's whatever.
Yeah,
I saw Joe Reed and I was like, my guy, Joe Reed. I was pretty excited. All right, Tyler, we're up at the 208. What you got?
This one is kind of tough between a couple running backs and a couple receivers, but I'm going to go with Alec Pierce out of Indy.
I like
a lot of camp talk is he's looking very good. Now, it was him or Christian Watson for like the most athletic, possibly raw receiver. But you know who's coming out ahead? A guy who's played in D1, who had tons of rep with Ritter's favorite weapon. And he's doing the same thing for Matt Ryan. And from what I've seen in camp is his routes look crisp. He looks good. I mean, maybe he's just a lunch pail guy, hard worker, first one in, last one out.
Oh, boy.
But it looks like he's going to be – I got James. He's going to be a starter on the outside next to Pittman. And then Campbell, hopefully he stays healthy. He'll be the slot guy. It's the perfect basketball team, my opportunity. You got the big alpha Pittman. You got the speed guy who can, go down the field and catch the long balls in Pierce. And you got that slot guy and Campbell who can do everything. I'm really liking this offense a lot more from what I've seen from that Matt Ryan video, is the Colts are also very excited about having Matt Ryan in the locker room.
As they should be. Yeah. As they should be. I'm going to take the first tight end here. It's Trey McBride.
Okay.
Zach Ertz did sign a long-term deal to stay there in Arizona, but he's a little bit older. McBride, to me, especially through training camp, is far and away the tight end one. We've seen not so great reports about James's guy, Greg Dulcich. We've seen really bad reports about Jelani Woods, like not knowing what he's doing.
And he can't move. He's just a tree.
And just being a freak athlete, but very raw. Jelani Woods, you might be looking at like year 3, year 4.
He's also 24. Jelani Woods is so.
Yeah. So Jelani Woods, like, he was going in like the 3rd round of tight end premiums. I can't imagine that would be the same now with those reports. So Mo Alley Cox season is upon us, as well as Kylan Granson.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, Mo Alley Cox is good, man.
I think
so I like Trey McBride here. I think he's far and away the best tight end in tight end premium. To get the number 1 tight end towards the end of the 2nd round is a really good value. So Trey McBride, easy pick here. Let's go back to James at the 210.
Last pick, buddy.
Last pick, and I will take another running back, and I'm going to take Brian Robinson for the Commanders.
He's going to be a problem.
He's going to be a problem
Antonio Gibson.
For Antonio Gibson. Because Antonio Gibson makes some mistakes because, he wasn't always a running back. He was a wide receiver. No. Anyway, he's got to stop dropping the ball, Antonio Gibson. Excuses will get him into the doghouse really fast. And you know what? Brian Robinson isn't that bad. I'm not going to say he's great. He's not an All-American, but he's good. He's good enough to fill that void. And worst case scenario, they split the backfield up between him and Antonio Gibson or J.D. McKissick. And guess what? Brian Robinson, he can catch passes as well. So I think that limits Antonio Gibson a little bit more and gives Brian Robinson a little bit more of a chance to play. I don't think he makes a big step in his rookie season, but that's yet to be seen, because if Gibson can't get his shit together, excuse my language, he might be out the door sooner than we think.
I agree with that.
All right, I'm going to go with the other running back that's left, and that's Zamir White. He's getting a ton of playing time with Vegas. Josh Jacobs, the rumors of him possibly being dealt and them kind of squashing those rumors.
They didn't play him at all today, which was a good sign.
I actually think he could be on his way out if the right offer is, in their office. I mean,
they labeled Amir Abdullah the James White of the offense.
Yep. Which, I mean, hey,
I said something about Amir Abdullah the last time I was here, guys, and Tyler shot me down.
If you've rostered Amir Abdullah after drafting him at 106, 105, congratulations. You could have a flex starting running back.
Possibly you.
But no, Zamir White, everything I've seen from this preseason, I've liked. He looks electric with the ball in his hands. He's decisive. He knows where he wants to go. Josh Jacobs, I think, is more talented, yes, but I just think he's out of favor with this coaching staff. Why not give it to the guy you drafted, who is going to be 23 already, Zamir White? He'll be 23 in September. Just use him and then let him go.
Josh Jacobs is not a pass-catching running back.
He can be.
He can be, but he was never used that way. He wasn't used that way in Alabama. He wasn't used that way really in Vegas before they were in Vegas. And now
he caught like 50 balls last year, I thought.
Out of necessity, because they didn't have anybody else.
Kenny Drake was hurt.
Drake was hurt.
Drake was hurt. But I think their options are better if they were to ship Jacobs out for a 4th rounder. Ship him out, get a 4th, and give the ball to Zamir White. You got a steal in the draft in the 4th round. Use the dude. I think he helps out their offense more because it's more of a power runner, and it allows the play action to be better. And I think Derek Carr is a better play action passer than he is just shotgun, let it rip. So for me, Zamir White, I think, is better for this offense. And yeah, honestly, I hope Jacobs gets moved to Atlanta.
Nice. I'm going to wrap up the draft here in round 2. This player's, there was a bit of hype on this player, but he's been injured. Nope. He's been injured. He's been injured in training camp, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for him because the wide receiver depth chart in Cleveland isn't that deep. It's Amari Cooper. It's DPJ. This was one of my guys, and I ended up not getting him in any draft. It's David Bell. I love David Bell. I think he could be a 10-year pro easy. I think that he could replace the production of Jarvis Landry with a little bit of extra. I know he tested slow, but I think he's just he's going to be a damn good NFL football player. And at the end of the second round, I will take David Bell all day long. I was hoping he was going to be there in most drafts, but he ended up going closer to the middle of the second round. So I wasn't able to get him. So I think he's a little bit of recency bias where he's been hurt. His name hasn't been on Twitter lately. So I think David Bell is slipping a little bit here, and I'm happy to get him at the 212. Guys, any other news and notes here before we start to head on out?
No, I'll just recap it. And it was starting from the top. It was myself at the 101, Ken Walker, followed by Tyler at Breece Hall, Doug with Drake London, back to myself with Ritter, Cook, Wilson, Sky Moore, George Pickens, Olave, Jameson Williams, Malik Willis. Doug wrapped up the first round with Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
And then we went Kenny Pickett, because why not? A quarterback in the second round. Treylon Burks, Tyler, good luck.
I mean, this is
Damian
fictional.
Pierce,
no, this is fictional. You don't put
Doug.
that.
Great pick, Damian Pierce. Wandale, James, great pick. No, I think we all stole in the second round, and probably we can all agree on that. Like, there's not really bad picks in the second round because you know what? Most of these guys have showed promise.
Yeah.
And to get them in the second round, we don't know their ceiling yet. It's a nice class. The 2022 class was really nice fantasy class.
So
I'm looking forward to the rest of
it. The last thing I'll say is Shane, a friend of ours, Shane Manila on Twitter, said if you can get a 23 first for George Pickens, do so. I would actually not do that. Don't do that. No. I like this receiving class a lot better than next year. Personally, there's one receiver, maybe two, I like next year. For me, this receiving class is going to be a good one. Now, if you can get a 23 first that you think is early and you need a quarterback in a super flex league, sure. I might do that. But if you are comfortable with hanging on to George Pickens, don't sell him, because right now you could probably get a first, a second, and a player. Like,
I think I got him at like the 206 or the 204. Yep. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like, that's
don't do it now. Don't do it now. His value will go up. Let the value rise. Don't kind of panic sell. Yeah, I just made pizza today, and I had to let the dough rise.
And rising star Romeo Dubs was selected at the 205, followed by Rashad White, Spiller, Pierce, Trey McBride, the only tight end off the board, Brian Robinson, Zamia White, and Doug's man David Bell. It was a great draft, guys.
That was fun.
Solid draft. It's interesting how some of the values change in a couple of months, and that's why we wanted to do it, to kind of give you guys like a quick update. If you've got any late rookie drafts, or you just wanted to wax poetic about like, oh, I shouldn't have picked this guy. That's why we do it, because it's a lot of fun. So before we get out of here, I mentioned the nerds earlier. If you're a nerd and you're listening to this, you want to go to dynastynerds.com, sign up for the Nerd Herd, support Rich and the crew over there. Use code DHH for 15% off of any subscription. You'll get everything from trade tools, an extra Nerd Herd episode, prospect film room, prospect scores, and the Dynasty GM. And if you're looking for some new swag, I know you guys that got back from the Fantasy Expo probably came back with some free shirts, or maybe you got the itch to add more to the collection. You can go on Viridian Global and check out DHH swag over there. So once again, I did want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Underdog, code DHH. They're going to match you up to $100. We got Manscaped, save you 20% with code DHH. Just, you'll have the cleanest balls in the block, boys. That's what it's all about.
Rex Burkhead balls.
Yes, he's just beautifully shorn like a sheep on a farm. And I want to give a shout out to Fantasy Points, code DHH22. Get that 10% off a Fantasy Points subscription today. That is going to do it for the Dynasty Happy Hour. We'll be back next week, bringing you the jam and the heat.
Goodbye.